Okay, hello everyone. I hope you enjoyed my Does Bad Things guy over-analysis video, because today I've got a new hyperfixation. That's and that's Dawn Pinstripilli Patority. Ignore that. Okay, I don't imagine there's a lot of people looking for an over-analysis on him, but if the Crash fandom is still alive, and if there is even a single person out there who is also fixated on him at the moment, I will be very happy if you find this video entertaining and if you just enjoy hearing someone talk about him a lot. And now I'm gonna preface this video with, I know that a big part of his character is inspired by like gangster movie tropes and all that, and like, he's a parody on that. I haven't seen many of those movies myself, so there's probably a chunk of his character that I'm missing out on. There's probably little Easter eggs that I don't know about, but anyone in the comments, if there's something you want to add, feel free to do that. So first we're going to be going over his design, and we're going to be covering the standard pink suit that he wears, and then another one, which we'll get to after that. I want to start by saying that in his gang, he seems to be the most normally proportioned of all of them, and as compared to other characters, they're not too ridiculously proportioned, but I do believe Pinstripe has the most like standard humanish looking body, which we'll get back to that in a bit. Now, I like that he is wearing pink because I think that this tells us about his character that he's very progressive and he wants to defy gender norms. He's sick and tired of people thinking that pink is a girlish color, and he's like, you know what? Screw you guys, I'm going all pink. I'm wearing all the Barbie colors. I'm Ken out here. Like, I love that. And also, of course, we have to point out that his suit has pinstripes on it. Now, here's the real question that I've been wondering for quite a while now is, are the pinstripes there? Does he have pinstripes on his suit because of his birth name, his birth middle name being similar to that fashion style? Does he choose that because it reflects his name, or in the world of Crash, like, was he such an influential figure that the fact that he was wearing this style so much they decided to name it after him? Answer me that. He wears a green shirt under his pink suit, which I do believe is a nod to the Joker as a character, and I think his manic personality really reflects his probably somewhat Joker inspiration. I don't know if there's like a mafia gangster movie character that has a similar style to that. I only know Joker, and in my mind, if his suit was purple, he would just be Joker's persona. We also have to point out that in his design he has these very prominent dark circles around his eyes, which I think are clearly there not because he's working so hard, but because he is constantly shooting up his own office, and because he's always falling off the tracks of his little casino racetrack. Now, when we put on the gangster skin, his suit changes to purple and gold, which I think reflects his beautiful kingly personality. I love him so much, and he gets to wear a cute little hat that has cards in it, and I haven't fully seen which characters are on which cards, but I do believe I think he is the Joker card. I know that Cortex is a king, I'm pretty sure. Fact check me on that, please. And also he's got these little cards strapped to his sleeve, probably so he can say he has an ace up his sleeve, which is kind of stupid that he has it on the outside. I'm pretty sure that when you're trying to rig the game in your favor when you're gambling, I think you're supposed to have that hidden so that no one knows that you're cheating, but hey man, I think what he does is pretty cool. I think he's pretty bold with that. Now, as for his species being a Pitoru, I did a little bit of research. It doesn't seem like those things are from Italy. It looks like they're from Australia, but they are a highly critically endangered species, and I think that's very sad. I do think we should probably save his people because I don't want him to be lonely in the future. Now we're on to his personality, which in the first game it's a little bit hard to gauge much of a personality outside of his manic shooting, but we can see that in his office he has a little drawing of him shooting Crash, which I think is him being told, you know, he's hired by Cortex he's gotta kill Crash so that Cortex can do his plan or whatever. But also I have a theory, and I'll get into this later, that he has a personal vendetta against Crash, and also he is clearly short-tempered with his gun here, because anytime it jams up he starts beating the shit out of it. Whoopsie, swearing, I hope I don't get demonetized. Just kidding, I'm not making any money off of these videos. Now in Crash Team Racing we actually have him talking, and we do get more of a look at his personality. We can see that he's got quite an ego on him because he's already calling himself himself the speed champion, I think that's what it's called. And immediately before you even talk to him or see him, he's already opening fire on you, trying to kill you already, which it just shows how trigger happy he is. You could see that on the wiki, but just getting more evidence. He's very clear on the fact that he is willing to save the world, but it has to be for a grand amount of money. Like, he has to be making a good profit off of it, otherwise he's not going to do it. What do we get from that? We get that he's kind of generally what you think a businessman is like, which is beautiful. I like that. It's great. And I also would like to note that there is a chance when you're racing as him or when you're racing against him, either one, that when he gets hit, he'll break out into maniacal laughter, which I think is just another trait of his to point out how unhinged he is, like how cuckoo, looky, loopy-doo he is in the head. He might not be on the level of Ripper-Roo, but he's getting there, And after you finish the race with him, he will admit defeat and be like, you won and it was fair, you did it, but he'll also make a little remark and say he doubts that you'll get this lucky with Oxide, which I think is kind of him trying to get one last jab in at you, because he doesn't want you to feel like you actually had the skill to beat him, that it was just luck, but he won't say it fully directly. And now, I didn't catch this when I first played, or when I saw the cutscene. I had to have this pointed out to me, but he pops the tire of his car when he wins, and he still gives you the key. But I didn't even know this about racing, that when you win against someone that you take their ride. It sounds a little bit too forward there, but But he does that, and I thought that he was just being weird. I didn't think he actually did anything to his car. I was under the assumption that, you stereotype his, like, rat kind of look, and you're like, oh, he's gonna do something bad, but he doesn't actually. He just has a weird way of acting, but, that's just me being an overly trusting person and wanting to see the best in everyone, so, I guess I got fooled here. I fell for the tricks. And, I'll just quickly go over. His first appearance is in the first game, and he's the second last boss fight. I think he's hired as the bodyguard to Cortex, and he's also like the CEO of his little sewer factory thing. I'm not 100% sure what it's supposed to be. Something sewer related, I'm pretty sure. And he's one of Cortex's many experiments, which again, we're gonna get into something I have a theory on later. He also has a very queer way of skipping around his office and spinning when he gets hit. Lore-wise, I don't really know what that means. As for his second appearance, he's also the second last boss there, serving as the bodyguard to the alien who I forgot the name of, but this bodyguard thing is very prominent thing for him. I find that interesting. And also, he's a playable character in this after you beat him, which I'm very happy for. I really wish that they would make a game that was maybe not open world, but maybe they can make another platform where we can like play as boss after you beat them. I just really want to be able to play as more of these characters in other games. By the way, sorry if my volume is kind of inconsistent, like going in and out. I realize that as I talk, sometimes I accidentally the microphone goes a little bit further away from me. I'm trying to make sure I'm conscious of it though. So the lore of Pinstripe now, he is canonically one of the experiments that Cortex did. He's one of the mutants, and when he was mutated after that, he was shown a lot of, like, obviously, like I said, gangster movies, and that was to like form his personality, his lifestyle, his aspirations. That was like his brainwashing, I guess. And I saw on like a Reddit post, someone said he's the third in command of Cortex's whole thing. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but just want to note that here. He's also very attached to his gun, the thing that apparently he accidentally shot the power out in his factory with, which I didn't catch that, but that's what the wiki says happens. And I would say he's in a bit of a toxic relationship with his gun, where he's a little bit abusive with it, if you ask me. Okay, he kind of like beats it when it's out of ammo, and then in the racing game, he's got like this. I mean, if the TV head video comes out before this. I went over this in that video too, but you know, he's got this like high and low thing going on where when he wins, he'll like shoot it and he'll be like happy with it. If they lose, he'll like cradle it, he'll comfort it, you know, he'll be nice to it still. But if you get to the podium, he'll start like beating it and shaking it if they get second or third place. And then if you get first place, he'll like shoot it happily. But then also if you have the gangster skin on, he like spits on it and then he starts like kissing it. So I don't know, he's got this like kind of a weird relationship going on with it. I'm not saying it's bad. Maybe it's bad. We're just gonna move on. He's got something going on with his gun. Now, according to the wiki, and you know, me and my brother got the bonus endings. After you defeat him, he becomes a used car salesman, in which he has a certain tactic where to get people to buy the cars that he's selling, he aims his gun at them and like pressures them into buying it faster, which the wiki says that makes him a top salesman for the time, but I'm pretty sure I remember that in the ending it says that he gets fired pretty quickly because of that and ends up falling back into his old ways of becoming a CEO and bodyguard, that kind of stuff. Which, like I said, if you get the bonus ending in the first game, there's this reveal that he leaves Cortex's side and he goes out to start his own sanitation company in Chicago, so I know where I'm going. But he also intends to run for governor there, which I think your vote should go on him. Okay, so now that we have all of that covered and out of the way, I want to go over my personal headcanon, what my little theory for his character is. So everything I've told you so far to remember, you've got it in your head, right? Okay, good. So my headcanon is that he was not always a Patoru, but instead, and I'm not talking about the fact that he was going to be designed as a Bandicoot. No. I believe that he used to be a human. Now, I kind of headcanon this for all of the characters, that they used to be humans before they were animals, but specifically in his case, I believe that he's one of the few that has a sort of recollection of his human life, hence why he has the most human-ish proportions and such. Now, after he transitioned to a Patoru, I think that he had the memories of being a human, but he couldn't like fully recollect them. Like he couldn't fully comprehend what he was like, what was in his mind and what he was thinking about. He had this sort of like bitterness because he realized he lost a life, but he can't remember what it was. Like he has no knowledge of what he used to be. So he would live his life, but he would live it feeling like there was something wrong with his existence. These movies that Cortex would show him would kind of bring back the memories a bit, but not enough for him to like fully know what he was thinking about, to fully understand it. So, you know, that would kind of drive him a little bit more crazy. He would learn that Crash was Cortex's first experiment and that things went wrong with that. Crash didn't work out for him, so he kept making more and more animals. And when Pinstripe learned this, he would have thought like, oh, if Crash had just been what Cortex wanted him to be, I wouldn't be in this position. I would have still been with my family. I still would have been living my life. And now I'm forced to be whatever this guy wants me to be. And he would have had this like hatred for Crash because of that. And he would have felt like all of it, like I said, he would have felt like all of this was completely avoidable if Crash had just complied or not run away to eat Wampa fruits with his sister. Over time, of course, he would slowly forget that human part of him and he would start to learn to cope with the reality of his current situation, but those scars would never completely heal. So I think he would, you know, that would explain why he's still unhinged and a little crazy. I also think that after he does that race with, canonically it's supposed to be Crash. I didn't play as Crash during it, but after he races with him, he would kind of think like, hey, maybe this kid's not like terrible. Maybe I shouldn't be so upset with him and I should just let go of what I can't control anymore. And also I like that his little explosive personality is reflected in his obsession with his little weapons. He's the only boss in the racing game. The other bosses usually kind of just have the TNT. I like that he gets his own unique little weapon to throw back at you while you're lagging behind. Also, I like the headcanon that his attachment to the gun, though I joked about it being a toxic relationship, I like to think that it's more of a comfort item to him. Like, he has his memories of shooting that with his family, and so he has this attachment to it because even though he doesn't fully remember them, like, he knows there's something important there with it, and it brings him that kind of nostalgic feeling. And for my final act, I'm gonna connect him to Does Bad Things guy. Now, what do we know? We know that they have a very prominent Brooklyn accent. they work multiple jobs, right? And we know that they're completely unhinged. They have like their signature weapon that they use, and they have a kind of a complex hatred relationship with the main character. So what do I think? I think that Does Bad Things guy, in his time of filling in for the role, actually no, I think that Does Bad Things guy, before he filled out the role for Brooklyn guy, he was also kind of doing a bunch of jobs, but he was doing like the evil version of jobs. And one of those was being in that little New York mafia with Pinstripe, and they were sorry guys, that was my dogs barking. They would have been in that little mafia together, and they would have been friends. And the only reason that they don't talk or know each other anymore is because eventually Pinstripe got kidnapped for the whole becoming a furry thing. Does Bad Things guy just didn't know how to find him, so he could never reconnect with him. So what does this mean for the future of both characters? I don't know, but now that we know that there is definitely a connection, and these two are clearly written to be friends, and these are not just vague things that I'm piecing together, I think that means that we as a community have to find a way to make them be friends again. Thank you very much for listening. So yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Well, no, that's definitely not all I had to say. Certainly a lot more I would talk about with Pinstripe, but that's all I can think about right now. This is a character I've been fixated on for a very long time. And like I said with Does Bad Things guy, there's a lot that I could just go on and on about. I tried to think of everything I could for this script. I kind of made this today, and I'm recording it today because I want to make sure that I record it so I don't forget to, and I'm going to try to edit this before the end of the year. Hopefully I can get it out before then. You guys will know because you guys will be seeing this whenever it comes out. Yeah, if you guys have Crash Team Racing, let me know, because I haven't been able to play it online with anyone yet, but I would love to be able to. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Let me know who you guys' favorite characters are. Yeah, hopefully I'll fixate on something else soon too. I hope you guys are liking the Has-Been videos. I'm trying to make those like good enough for you guys. You know, I don't want to just make Has-Been videos. I said the same thing about those ranking videos. I didn't just want to be making those. I'll figure out what kind of content works best, or you know, just jump between all of them. We'll see. Love you guys. Hope you guys love Pinstripe now, and I hope you guys all want to join this gang, because we're going to be doing that in 2026. Alright, love you. Bye.